Hey fellow backyard boyers, Nick here. Today we're going to be making this knife. This is a nice little chopper and I'm calling it the Workhorse. Not only because it is a workhorse, it's a really nice hard-working chopper, but because I've kind of gone with a horse theme with this. The blade is made from a Farrier's rasp that I picked up at a garage sale for $2. And Farrier's rasps are used for shaping horse hooves. And the handle is made out of horse stall matting. So let's get started. On my last video, a lot of you guys said you wanted to make knives, but you don't have access to all of the tools that I have. So today I'm going to limit myself to just using one power tool. This is a 4-inch angle grinder that I picked up from Harbor Freight. I got it on sale, so this plus a pack of cut-off wheels, grinding wheels, and flap sanding discs altogether cost me $20. So this is what I'm going to be using today. Using the grinding wheel, I grind down the tops of the rasp teeth just until everything's nice and level, but I still have the nice rasp pattern in the steel. Now that I've cleaned up the rasp, I've gone ahead and drawn my design. I'm going for a Warncliffe style point and a 4.5-inch handle. That gives me a 9.5-inch blade. Now that I have my design, I'm using a cutoff wheel and the grinding wheel to true up the profile and bring the knife to its final shape. Now that the profile of the knife is refined, I take the grinder and grind in my bevels. I work on both sides of the knife, making sure that my angles are consistent and that the plunge lines are nice and smooth. Now that my edge grind is roughed in, I switch over to the flap sanding wheels and slowly take it up from a 36 grit to a 120 grit, making sure to smooth out the edge, remove any ripples and grinding gouges, and also I'm cleaning up the flats of the blade and making it look very nice and even. Since the rasp has already been hardened, we don't need to re-harden it. But because it's too brittle at this point for a chopper, we're going to temper the blade back. I'm going to be putting it in my oven at 400 degrees for about an hour, or until the edge turns a straw color. Once that's done, I'm going to put it edge down in a pan full of sand for another hour at 400 degrees so that the spine and handle can soften a little bit more. And that way we can keep the edge a little harder. An easy way to finish up the knife and make the grind lines a little more uniform is to just take a Scotch-Brite pad and go in the directions of your grind lines. Now that the blade is finished, trace the outline of the knife tang onto the horse stall matting. Then with a sharp knife, carefully score along the marks. Give yourself a little bit of room and just keep scoring, and you should be able to cut all the way through with the knife. Get this as close as you can now so that it'll be easier to grind it off later. To attach the handle slabs onto the tang of the knife, I'm using a 2-part epoxy, though you could also use a rubber toughened super glue or something similar. For an added strength, you could drill holes in the handle and use pins as well. But since this build is only using the one power tool, I'm just going to be gluing the handle scales onto the knife. Once the epoxy is set, clamp up the knife and then grind down the rubber until it's nice and it fits your hand well. And because this is going to be a heavy chopper, I'm going for a rounded handle that's fairly thick. That way when I grip it, I'm really grabbing a lot of the rubber. And the rubber gives a really nice solid grip, and it's also a cushioned grip. So you also want to go light on the spine and the tang of the knife, because you don't want to create sharp edges that'll cut into your palm when you're chopping with this thing. Now all that's left to do is sharpen it up. Alright, here's the finished knife. So now I'm going to do a little bit of chopping with this and we'll see how it does. So it's held up to everything so far, but that was pretty light stuff. So now I'm going to cut through this elk shin bone, which is pretty tough. Here we go, let's see how it does. And I can further process this so I can make fish hooks, arrowheads, probably make a small knife out of this. There you go. Here's the knife all finished up. I hope you enjoyed making this knife with me today. If there are any other knives or knife styles you'd like to see me make, let me know in the comments below. If you're into general DIY, I have a lot of other videos, so you can check it out on my channel. I especially have a lot of things on making archery equipment, like PVC bows. I also do atlatls and other things like that. And if you're into learning more about PVC bows and even wooden bows, I've actually written a few books and you can check them out. I've got a link in the description below, or you can just go to Amazon.com or Barnes & Noble. And if you check out your local bookstore, they may be able to get some of my books if they don't have them already. You can also find them on Three Rivers and some other archery retailers. I just wanted to say thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.